There are a couple of things that organizations should look at. Obviously, they need to understand the type of industry that they're in because risks will vary depending on the type of business that an organization does. I think at the conference today, we talked a lot about a risk-based approach. So really understanding which third parties present a higher degree of risk and then applying a level of due diligence that's proportionate to that. Those risk factors could be things like business type, the type of relationship you have with a third party, but also jurisdictional risk. So depending on where your third parties operate on your behalf. Well, I think one of the themes from the conference that was really interesting was really engaging the business in the process. So for a compliance officer to be able to educate the business that due diligence is a necessary step, that may be able to give them a little bit of time in explaining why this process needs to take place and why it's an important part of business. But I think organizations should really be prepared and understand when these needs are going to come up, and they can factor that into their business planning. Due diligence doesn't have to be an exercise that really takes an extended period of time. If they've gathered enough information about third parties from the get-go, they can very easily conduct some due diligence quite quickly to be able to understand if there are any risks and then be able to engage directly with those third parties. I think most organizations should really understand that once they do the due diligence at the point of onboarding and they've decided to do business with a particular third party, the risk factors can change. So the important thing is to be able to monitor that relationship through time, understand any emerging risk factors, and then apply, again, levels of due diligence that are proportionate to that. We see a lot of organizations do this through technology, so they have things like overnight screening, but also they need to understand that business relationships can change. So they need to also understand if they're engaging with a third party on a different business venture, that in and of itself might present some new risks that they should be aware of.